Welcome back to Development Book Club. Today we continue with Restoring Sanctuary, and we're going to talk briefly about the commitment to social learning. And this ties into the commitment to growth and change we started with, in the sense that we need to continually learn how to do our work more effectively. So the definition of social learning is the little understood process of change which may result from interpersonal interaction. When some conflict or crisis is analyzed in a group situation using whatever psychodynamic skills are available. And this is not always learning, but frequently unlearning old patterns and beliefs is important as well. The authors repeatedly emphasize the importance of discussion and especially dissent in this chapter. And the idea here is that to be useful, dissent must be direct. Therefore, the conditions that promote dissent within an organizational culture must be conducive to free speech without retaliation, of course. And the idea here is that decisions that are made under stress can be revised when things calm down, that nothing is unreversible. And we want to choose how to make a decision that should come well before making the decision, right? And there are three ways of making a decision. There's by authority, which actually the authors point out can be good in an emergency or an acute crisis situation. Decisions by majority, and we want to, in these situations, watch out for repeatedly marginalized voices, because someone's basically always going to be left out unless it's a total consensus in a majority decision. And consensus is to go around and the table, and everybody gets their own say without interruption. Really important thing here is that the commitment to social learning is to create an ongoing learning organization that identifies opportunities and errors, seizes those opportunities while self-correcting errors as a routine and exciting part of the work of helping people to recover from their injuries they have sustained. And the goal here is about changing problematic patterns of behavior, not controlling behavior. Although changing those problematic patterns does end up changing problem behavior, of course. Quick word or two about the commitment to social learning and trauma-informed practice. And so there's this idea of single and double loop learning that comes up again and again in this chapter. Single loop is the idea of detecting and correcting an error. Double loop learning is that errors are detected and corrected in ways that involve questioning our basic assumptions and often changing an organization's underlying norms, policies, and objectives. So this is really about making more fundamental changes. It's double loop learning. And one more thing is that the authors talk about retrieving organizational memory, and this is like to heal and move on. Organizations must review the narrative of their own history and be willing to address the traumas that have occurred in the recent or distant past, just like we would ask for our clients to do, but we do as an organization for ourselves. Many organizations have been startled to recognize the ways in which their current functioning continues to be haunted by their unsolved past. And in an organization like ours, the idea is when the wheels are coming off the place, it's because the adults do not have their acts together. It's not ever the client's or kid's fault. So Sanctuary Toolkit, and we're done. Again, back to encouraging double loop learning. So start talking about inflammatory issues, they say. And this is usually the cultural rules in an organization do not live in our conscious awareness, but they operate unconsciously. Organizational trauma assessment, talk about things, suicide, homicides, other deaths, lawsuits, even scandals that happen at an agency. So talk about those things and process them and avoid organizational memory fragmentation, which is what happens when no one talks about something and sort of disperses. Self-treatment planning, a real guide for the day-to-day activities of clients, what this should be organized around. Safety, S, emotional management, E, L for loss, and F for the future. These should be oriented towards solutions, not problems. Think about the question again, which keeps coming up, which is what happened to you versus what's wrong with you. And appoint a devil's advocate in meetings, which is awesome, to identify weaknesses and unintended consequences in a plan. We'll see you next time with the next Sanctuary Commitment.